Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new, very special episode of Anime Podcasters. We did announce on our social media during January 2023 that there will be no new episodes. However, we have something special for you. This is not necessarily a new episode, but it's something that I'm very excited to present to you. Over the years, Kyo and I have podcasted about Trigun many times, and I thought it would be fun, since there's a new Trigun series coming out very soon, to put together all of our Trigun episodes with my commentary in between. So consider this a new presentation. We have 3 different segments, and I'm very excited to present these to you. The first one will be a side anime podcast that Kyo and I recorded back in September of 2016. This was in the very early days of Anime Podcasters. You'll notice that the audio quality was what it was, and that throughout the years that the quality improves. So on this episode, I had just finished watching Trigun, and Kyo was so excited. He's the one who introduced the series to me, and I wanted to obviously get on the mic and discuss that with him. This segment will run for about 30 minutes, and then we'll get into episode 79 of Anime Podcasters, just titled Trigun, which was posted and recorded in March of 2020. This was the last episode we did right before the pandemic struck, so I remember it very clearly. And then that one will run for about 48 minutes, and then we will also have our latest episode about Trigun, episode 135, titled Trigun Badlands Rumble plus Trigun Stampede, where we discuss our initial takes when the trailer came out and everything. Very excited for this series. Obviously, Trigun Stampede is going to be amazing. So without further ado, enjoy the first segment, and you will see me in about half an hour. Bye. Hi guys, and welcome to a very special side anime podcast. I have my very good friend, some of you might not know who he is, GoProKyo. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing all right. How's it going?
Good. This podcast is going to be very, very fun because we're going to be talking about Trigun. This is an anime that...
Oh, my dear friend.
Oh, yeah. This is an anime that Kyo's been telling me to watch. Like, go watch it. I'm like, okay, maybe. And then I finally watched it, and I was like, why did I not watch this anime sooner? It's so good. But before we get into Trigun, I just want to quickly introduce ourselves. I'm JaianMusic. This is my channel. I podcast about anime. I do anime remixes and covers. And I'm joined with my good friend Kyo. Kyo, quickly introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hey guys. Basically, I'm an animator, voice actor, writer. I do a lot of stuff on the channel Daydreamer Studios. You can also find me on Twitter at GoProKyo, or you can find me also on YouTube with my personal channel, also called GoProKyo. I post animations, voiceover stuff, abridged series, all kinds of cool stuff. And I've been working with Jaian for about has it been a year or almost 2 years?
Oh, no, at least 2 years. I mean, yeah, no, we've
almost
been
2 years.
Yeah, at least 2 years. Like, this is like, it's been a good time. Like, it's been a good while.
Jaian does a lot of music for us.
Yeah, and he does all the artwork for me, so it's a great bond.
Yeah.
I didn't know what word to use.
We have a barter system as well.
Friendship.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so let's get into this anime. Trigun. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Please, yes.
I love this anime so much. Vash the Stampede, the main character, this guy is wanted for $60 billion double dollars, and right from the first episode, like, he's like running away from people trying to like catch him and stuff, and like people are just gunning him down, and this anime is absolutely amazing. Like, what was your first thought, and like, how did you get into like Trigun?
When I first got into Trigun, I actually didn't find it the conventional way that everybody else seems to, like Toonami or like TV. I actually found it on YouTube.
Oh, really?
And not through like video clips of the show, but like well, technically, but in an AMV, which stands for animated music video. People will chop up like pieces of an anime and then set it to a song, and it was set to a song that I had recently got really into, which was a song by AC/DC called Big Gun, and I feel like that
oh, that's a great track.
Kind of really got me into yeah, it really got me into the imagery of it and the music. It kind of meshed pretty well together with the series, and I was like, this kind of looks like the same animation style as Pokemon. And like at the time, I was not into anime. I was more into like cartoons and stuff. But I ended up looking it up, and I found oh, it's on YouTube, it's on Netflix, and originally Funimation used to upload like all their English dub stuff to their YouTube channel. But nowadays they don't, or they have like the first 4 episodes of whatever, and then the rest of it is all subbed. So you have to like go to the website and like buy the dub stuff, which is what they work so hard on. And so when we finally got Netflix in my house, that's when I like the first thing I did was look up anime on Netflix, and I found Trigun as one of the first things, and I crushed through the whole series within a month.
Yeah. I mean, I finished the whole series in like, I think like 2 weeks. I mean, I was watching like 3-4 episodes a night, and like some nights off. And like, what really got me into Trigun was, I mean, Vash's character. I find him like so compelling, and like I can't think of another like protagonist that's as I don't know what word to use to describe him. He has like I'm gonna use this word, and I don't care what people think. He's got this swag to him, okay? And he's like defeating everyone.
Okay.
Like,
there's a funny little joke there. There's a funny joke.
Go ahead.
That word is in fact used in the film, like the movie.
Oh, I didn't watch the movie yet. Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like a joke about that, but like I'm not going to spoil it for you. I mean, it's kind of a throwaway joke, but still, like the fact that you use that word and it's like tied into the film, so like I couldn't let that go.
Right. I mean, I absolutely love Vash's character. I love what can I don't even know where to begin. Like, I mean, I just think that the way he deals with like the enemies that come in, like the first like big bad guy that I really enjoy was like the Nebraska brothers, and they show up and they're like
okay, so episode 5 is easily my favorite episode out of the series. Like, it's the first. I mean, it takes like 5 episodes for Vash to actually pull his gun and use it. Like.
Right.
When does that ever happen? Like, if you have a character that has like a superpower or some kind of signature, like for example Naruto, in the first episode, the thing that we all know him for is the clone jutsu, and that's used in the very first episode. And like, try to imagine him not learning that until like 5 episodes in. Like, say like it's when they get to like training with Kakashi. Like, I feel like it would have been more interesting that way, and I think that it's interesting in the sense that you're kind of really wanting him to draw his gun, because 1, the gun looks really freaking cool.
Right.
And 2, the fact of the matter is, like, he's such a different character from the way everybody else is describing him, and we're not, and the audience is kind of not entirely sure who Vash is for a little while. Like, I think in the second episode I caught on, and I was like, okay, that's Vash.
Right. Well, I kind of knew like Vash was Vash from the beginning, just because like you let me know, and I looked up like pictures of him, and I find it's like, okay, so you're an artist and you love drawings and everything. I absolutely love like the way he's drawn, and like how he's like taller, and that red coat, and that blonde spiky hair. He's got a really cool look. I don't know why, but it kind of like reminded me of like Naruto before he was even getting like at the academy, and he had those goggles on his forehead.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of like that for some reason, but like he's got an amazing character, and I absolutely like his design. Can you talk about it a little bit to us? Like, what's your opinion on his design and how he looks and everything?
It really does fit like his like the environment that he lives in. I mean, most would argue that like a cloak is probably not the best thing to wear, but like especially in the desert. But one, I think the blood red color, one is sort of red is a color that kind of intimidates people. Like, just the color sets off a trigger in your brain that this person is probably more aggressive than you expect. And I mean, the color of the cloak kind of ties into Vash's past and his character, but I don't want to get into that because that's kind of a spoiler territory. I mean, I know most of our podcasts are kind of spoiler heavy, but in this case, I feel like it's something that the audience kind of has to get into.
Right.
And interestingly, like I had talked to one of my friends about like the piercing on his ear.
Right.
Like for a while, I didn't know the like I can't remember which side it's supposed to mean. Like if you only have one side of your ear pierced, or I can't remember which direction it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be like, I don't know, like a gay euphemism or something.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
I don't know which side. I think it's supposed to be the left side. But ultimately, he's unique enough, but he's not necessarily scary. I mean, it's sort of it's a fitting design, but when you see the character in sort of situations where he acts silly, it fits. It just perfectly fits. Even though like he kind of has those moments in the way they frame him and shoot him, he looks really badass. Like the first episode, you'll see him and he's wearing his glasses, and the glasses are like kind of reflecting off and like making sure you don't see his eyes, which makes like when you can't make eye contact with a character or a person, that kind of makes that person or character a little intimidating.
Right. I mean, he's absolutely
really
badass.
adds to Vash's character.
No, but I want to.
Oh yeah.
He's absolutely badass, and I love his nickname he's given the humanoid typhoon. Like, I mean, you can't have a more badass name than the humanoid typhoon.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's absolutely amazing. Are you kidding me? I love that.
The whole series, like so many of the characters have like subtitle names. Like you have like the villains that come in later in the show, and they all have like these cool nicknames, and they're like kind of tie into their Western like environment that they're living in. And it really immerses you in the world that they live in.
Right.
It feels so Western and so sci-fi all at the same time.
No, for sure. I wanted to talk about Murel and Millie, like at the beginning of the anime. For those of you who did not know, Kyo and I, we started podcasting on this other like series I do on my channel called Anime Podcasters. Recently, we had an episode on dynamic duos. I really feel like Murel and Millie are like a very good duo, and they balance each other out. I mean, like Millie is this way more like a smiley, optimistic character, but can also pack a big punch. And like I feel like Meryl's like more of the determined type, and like kind of like picks up where like Millie slacks off, and they really like combine together. They're really good. Can you talk about like their relationship a bit, and also like maybe touch on like how did they know who Vash was at the beginning, and then like they realized, wait, you're Vash the Stampede? Like just like kind of like tie it all in for us.
Honestly, the show is pretty much just about these four characters. Like you also have Wolfwood, who comes into the show later.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about him. Don't worry.
These two characters, they play off each other very well. Like they're two completely polar opposite characters in the sense that like one like you said, one is the happy-go-lucky, one is the other one that kind of picks up where the other slacks off. And honestly, the dynamic between them is kind of what helps carry the series along with Vash.
Right.
Like you could switch. I mean, honestly, you could have a series with just the two of them, but it kind of helps to have Vash on the other side of things, because like you can switch between like different parts of the story, and like you can like sort of develop one part of the story that's gonna eventually lead up to like say Millie and Murel are in one scene, and then eventually it's gonna build up to like finding out Vash is in the same place, and then something crazy happens, and so on. If all that makes sense. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like I'm going off.
No, go ahead. We're nerding out. Go ahead. Go off. We're nerding out. Don't worry. I mean, go ahead. And I was watching the series with Church, and I was like messaging him like between and during episodes. I was like, yeah. Oh my god, this is happening. Oh my god, this is going down. Like, I kind of like I want to talk about Wolfwood, and then I want to kind of talk about other like those things that made me freak out, which is going to be more of a spoilerish kind of thing. But so we'll put it towards the end of the podcast. But okay, Wolfwood, I love this guy. I don't know where to begin. Like, okay, absolutely amazing like counterpart to Vash. I love like there's finally like an equal to Vash. I feel like Vash is like this top tier character. No one can like kind of be on his level in terms of like he's defeating everyone and everything. But like Wolfwood shows up when they're like when they're riding that like truck or bus. I don't even know whatever it was throughout the desert, and they're on the same ride together. And then what was that happened again? It was like an invasion of robots or something like that, right?
Yeah, they had a quick stop, and then like one of the kids got kidnapped, or somebody got taken by robots.
And then like Vash and Wolf would like collaborate together to like get the kid back and everything. They hop off the ride, and then everyone's like, what's going on? And like we saw them like work together in action, and I thought they worked really well together. Like, kind of, what are your thoughts on Wolfwood, like as a character, as a counterpart to Vash? Like, how do you feel about Wolfwood?
I feel like Wolfwood is supposed to be what Sasuke is to Naruto, but a lot better. Like, I like Naruto, and a lot of you will say like, oh, well, you make the abridged series. Well, like, I love Trigun a lot more.
Trigun abridged?
In all honesty, because,
Trigun abridged?
I did have a trailer for that, but I never got that off the ground. Basically, Wolfwood is sort of a little bit edgier than Vash, but
definitely.
He's not defined by the fact that he's supposed to be edgier and the opposite of Vash's character. He actually has his own character. He's not made to simply be Vash's opposite or his equal.
Okay.
Quite honestly, the two of them together, they have some of the funniest like banter.
Oh, they do. They really do.
In the whole show. Like,
They really do.
Oh, yeah. Whereas, like, Sasuke, he's just there to mostly be, like, an obstacle for Naruto.
Right.
And, like, Naruto has to overcome that, but, and, like, somehow they, like, end up with creating a bond, and I don't entirely get it. I mean, I just don't know. But, quite honestly, Wolfwood is probably the perfect equal to Vash, next to his brother.
Oh my God. Okay. For sure. Okay. I'm as we were podcasting, I have like the Trigun Wikia open with me, and I'm on the Wolfwood's page at the moment, and apparently, like, there's like this trivia about him. According to the author, the initial for it's because his full name is Nicholas D. Wolfwood. The D apparently stands for daily cigarette intake when you translate it. I don't know why, but that's pretty funny.
He is always smoking, though.
He is.
So, like, that's the thing.
He is. All right. Spoiler warning. We're going to go into some major spoiler stuff. So, jump out right here.
Yeah, so, again, haven't seen the series? Time to go watch it. Stop the podcast. Maybe listen to the other anime podcasters.
Yeah.
But first, go watch the
10
series.
episodes for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about Rem.
Okay. Big
Rem?
spoiler right off the bat there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, we warned them, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So she's
those
like,
who didn't listen.
I know, right? People are like raging, like throwing their headphones across the room. No.
Yeah.
He said Rem. Okay.
Yeah.
So
go on.
like,
go on.
Rem is like. She's part of Project Seeds and like a crew member with Vash and Knives, which is Vash's brother. We're gonna get to him too, and she's like basically like a caretaker for those two. And
she's essentially their surrogate. She's their surrogate parent, their surrogate mother.
Exactly. Okay. And like I really liked her character, and I felt like when Vash flashed back to her, it kind of like gave me like it kind of opened up the more tender side to Vash. I know Vash also has this thing where like when he's defeating an enemy, he doesn't want anyone to die. Like he's making sure everything, like nobody, like you know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to destroy the city. He doesn't want like anyone to get hurt. So like he gets everyone out of town before a certain battle and everything. And I feel like when he flashbacks to Rem, I kind of understand more of that side of him because it shows kind of his tenderness as a character. But like, do you like Rem? Like how do you feel about Rem as a character?
I really like Rem. I like the idea of seeing Vash's roots and kind of a little bit of background on on the world that they're living on.
Right.
And it's not too much. Like it's just what, like 2 episodes of that, or is it like just the one? Because I can't remember
pretty
the
sure.
order
I'm pretty sure there was 2. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like if not, then there was at least like 1 episode, and it dedicated the entire thing to just like letting us learn about where Vash and Knives came from, and like what their upbringing was like, and just like how, just kind of how things got started. And honestly, Rem as a character, I really like. I really like her in the sense that she's not necessarily a Princess Peach type of character. Like she's not a stereotype of a mother, I guess. I mean, Peach is not a mother figure in all honesty, but like I'm just saying, like she's not a stereotyped female character. Like she's not like a stock. She's not like a piece of stock footage. Like she's completely unique in the sense that she offers the point of view that Vash grows up with, and he kind of takes the whole thing that Rem says to heart. And then like you see Knives like take the exact opposite route, and you see sort of like how the wheels get turning in the two boys' head, and that kind of separates them like in terms of their philosophy and their mindsets. And so you kind of you kind of see exactly how like kind of just how these characters are, like why there's a conflict, why they act the way they do.
Right. So now you put that together really nicely, and I think it's a good way to put it. I wanna jump, because we mentioned him. I want to jump to this character, Knives.
Oh yes.
Like I mean, he's basically the ultimate antagonist of the series, and like Vash's brother. I absolutely love Knives. I love how like because I love a compelling villain. I love a good villain.
Absolutely.
Knives. Had I watched Knives back when we did the villains podcast, I would have put him on my list. Because this is what I like about Knives. Knives appears super innocent, and like when he goes to like destroy like the spaceships and everything, and all those crew members die. He basically sets that all up by himself, and he's like a little kid. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Like this kid's like an evil genius. I love it. I mean,
and like the thing that. The funny thing is, you don't see him like being evil as an adult as much as you do as a kid. So that's actually a little more scary, like when you're seeing him as a child, like committing these horrible things. And then there's like the scene where Vash finds him in the office, and then there's the dead body, and like Knives is so very calm about it, and he's just like so casual about the fact that he pretty much just killed somebody.
I mean, he's like an old school like Light Yagami who doesn't give a crap about killing people.
yeah. I mean, like honestly, like if I had to choose between Light and Knives, I would definitely say Knives is probably a much cooler villain. That's just my my take. I agree. On it, quite honestly.
Knives is I don't know how to like put it into words, and this is a podcast, so obviously perfect timing, right? But Knives is super compelling as a villain. Knives is like, I think we're talking about dynamic duos and like Vash's counterpart. Like I think he takes it over like Wolfwood as a counterpart. I feel like without Knives there is no Trigun. Without Knives, even though he shows up really towards the end, and like he has like that whole team with Legato, which we'll talk about too. Like that anime ending, like he conducts that, and he's like, and we all think it's like all Legato's like the bad guy and everything, but no, it was Knives the whole time, and I love that.
Yeah, like Knives is sort of he's sort of like the mastermind that's pulling all the strings for like all the like all those several characters that Vash eventually faces off against, and like Knives kind of treats them like playing cards. He just like throws them out onto the table and just sees like how Vash is going to react to it, and like how pretty much all of those characters die, but not always by Vash's hand. Like somehow they get it to a point where those guys that Vash has to fight, they just have to die, and that really gets to Vash, because killing is like it's just something that pushes him over the edge. He cannot handle it. Like it's something that he absolutely despises.
No, for sure. All right, so we mentioned this guy, and we'll probably talk about him, and then final thoughts. Legato. I love Legato too as a villain. Basically he's like he devotes himself to like knives and like makes his main goal to like make like Vash like suffer and like have eternal pain.
Yeah.
And like I guess if Knives is the first, he's second in command to Knives basically. And two things I want to talk about him specifically. That scene in the bar where like he just destroys everyone, how he's basically introduced. I love that. He was absolutely like amazing.
Oh yeah.
And that was like a great.
Every character has like a perfect introduction in this show. I know everybody's not introduced through a bar, but like it seems like a bar is always involved with like introducing a character. Like there was Vash's introduction, the introduction of Frank Marlin from episode 3. And there's Legato in the bar, like. But I know it's a western, but like lots of bars in this show.
It's a western, yeah, yeah. But like, but to counter what on the opposite spectrum though, the way Legato goes out, where he's just like Vash, kill me, shoot me, and then that's it, and he dies. I find that to be super disappointing. I don't know why, but I was like, that's how he's gonna go out. I was like, come on, what? Really? Like, how did you feel about him going out like that?
I think it was a good way to do it because, like, pretty much Legato's goal is to break Vash, and in the end, it does mean. I mean, like, Legato wants to die. He wants to be dead, and like, it's kind of his goal to make sure that Vash is suffering. And to Legato, the ultimate way to get Vash to suffer was to get Vash to kill somebody, and ultimately that was Legato. And so in my opinion, like I feel like Legato kind of got, like, in a sense, like just in figure of speech here, he kind of got the last laugh, and like he got the satisfaction of knowing that he basically broke him. And like for two other episodes we see like Vash is broken and he's not wanting to get up. He's just sitting there contemplating the fact that he just took a life, even though it wasn't entirely his decision. But like the fact that he had to kill one life to save another life, or a couple other lives, just the fact that he took a life in general is just uncomfortable to him. He just can't handle it, like I said before.
Okay. Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
But you're still not satisfied with the way he died, though.
I get why he did it. I get that he wanted to die. I get that he wanted to break Vash. I guess there wasn't enough fireworks for me. I get the whole mental thing, but like on screen kind of thing, it was just like kind of like shoot me in the head. That's it. You know.
I see what you're saying. You wanted it like framed differently. You wanted it to be like a glorious death, like a little more glorious.
Yes, I want him like riding on a horse, coming in like trying to like chop Vash's head off, and like Vash like, no, I'm kidding. Okay.
That would be cool though. Okay. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Would be cool. Would be cool. If animators out there or Church yourself, if you want to do that, if you do a bridge, keep that one. That one's a freebie, guys. Okay. Let's start like wrapping this up. Final thoughts on Trigun for yourself, Church.
Oh boy, it's kind of hard to summarize the whole show in just a few minutes, but I think that the reason it kind of hits home for me is because this show kind of changed my outlook on life. Like, I was growing up in high school, and I was a very quiet, introverted, not wanting to talk to anybody type of kid, and I really didn't like socializing. I was more so like, everybody's stupid. I feel like I'm the smartest person in the world. Like, I think we've all had that point in our lives. But
yeah.
But I checked out the show, and like the way that the character acted, and just Vash's personality in general, just kind of lit me up in a way. And I kind of saw the world in a different way. Like the way he said that like just through his actions alone, more so through his actions than the way he's, like, the things he's talked about, and just how free and happy he is despite, like, the horrible life he's lived. And it made me think, like, if a cartoon character can live a happier life than I can, then I'm obviously not living the right life.
Right.
And and in all honesty, I guess the best way to describe Trigun is it's a fun ride with lots of creative characters, really compelling story, villains, good guys, bad guys, philosophy, ethics, morals, all kinds of really cool stuff. I mean, all the stuff like just being said does not do it justice. It's honestly something that if you haven't seen it yet, and if you're watching it, or if you're watching this podcast and you haven't seen it yet, why are you at this point is my first question. Secondly, my second question is, why aren't you watching it right now?
Yeah, basically. For me, final thoughts. Absolutely an amazing anime. I'm glad I watched it. I picked it up because like Church was like, "It's my favorite ever." I'm like, okay, if it's your favorite ever, it's worth a watch for the first episode. Then I got hooked. That's it. That's it. That's all.
Like I told you, as soon as he got through the first episode, I think, or actually, I don't remember when I said it, but he just messaged me and said, "I'm going to start Trigun," and I said, "That is a classic gem, and you need to finish the whole thing."
Yeah, I remember
I was honestly worried as to whether or not if you would like it. I was honestly worried if you wouldn't like it.
I loved it. I loved it. And all right, let's quickly plug our stuff in here. So thank you so much for checking out this side podcast. If maybe we can make this like a thing, like once a month or something. I don't know. If you guys if you guys enjoy this podcast, make sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Church, where can people find you online?
Okay, well, you guys can find me online. You can find me on Facebook at GoProKyo Arts. I don't post on Facebook as much, but I am a lot more active on my Twitter, which is I think it's Church Christensen, or you can find it at GoProKyo /Twitter. And you can also find me using my voice on Naruto Abridged or in any other like fun projects on the Daydreamer Studios page, which will be linked in the description. And you can also find my YouTube channel, GoProKyo, with not too much to find on there, but you will be seeing some animations sometime soon. And
awesome.
I'll hand it off to you, Jaian, if you're going to close or if you're going to promote yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just really quickly. I mean, if you're watching this video, you're right on my channel. I have this other series called Anime Podcasters. We have a bunch of episodes where just a bunch of Kyo too, where we talk about anime. So make sure to check that out. All my links will be in the description. I'll make it that simple. And also, quick plug, by the time you're listening to this podcast, I will have a new anime remix of Bleach. I remixed a song from Bleach, and that's on my channel right now. Go check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we are back in present time. Let's get right into it. This is episode 79 of Anime Podcasters, simply titled Trigun. Enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. Today, it is myself and GoProKyo. Kyo the Stampede is in the house, in the podcast. How's it going, buddy?
I didn't think you were going that direction, but I'm doing good.
Very happy.
I'm doing pretty good. Today. I'm happy to be back on. I watched I did some rewatching for this episode, which was nice to go back and watch one of my old favorites.
Yes, and
we finally get to do a full video on this.
Podcast episodes. Yes, in all seriousness,
that too.
Yeah, in all seriousness, the topic today is one that has been in the works for basically since episode 1. We were telling ourselves we need to talk about this anime at some point. It's basically 80 episodes later, basically, and we're here finally.
Yeah,
we are talking about Trigun, Vash the Stampede.
Now, let's address this real quickly. I think some folks might be a little confused because we did have a quote-unquote side anime podcast on it. It was more like just getting Jaian's initial thoughts on it and just me kind of gushing about with him about the show. But this time we're going to go a little more in depth, and we're also going to answer a couple audience questions. Yeah?
Yes. And that podcast was what, like 2016, 2017? It was a while ago.
Man.
Time goes by fast.
Almost 5 years of podcasting. Just about there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
All right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
Yes. All right. I always start with this question because I think it's a good way to kick off any anime-based topic. I really want to know how you found out about Trigun, what got you into it, and your initial impressions of Trigun.
So I'll be honest, the first time that I heard about Trigun, I actually... So, like, I don't know if you remember these days, Jaian, but, like, there was a long time ago on the internet where songs did not get copyrighted nearly as much as they do now. But, basically what happened was, like, so I was looking for a particular song by AC/DC, the song Big Gun, which was a new favorite song for me at the time. And somehow I stumble upon this anime AMV that just had clips of Trigun interspliced with the song. So I was interested in it because the last anime I had watched before that was this was honestly like the first like official anime that I delved into head first. So like like I had used to watch like Pokemon when I was younger. Like we all went through that point, right?
Oh yes, we did. Yeah.
So like I eventually found that like all the episodes were available on YouTube by Funimation themselves. They posted them on their YouTube channel, and originally they used to have all the episodes like both subbed and dubbed because because like back then revenue was generated by clicks as opposed to watch time, which is different now obviously. But anyway, like I watched it from start to about halfway through. I fell out of it, and then a year later when Netflix Instant became a thing, I found it was on Netflix, so I binged through the entire show. That's pretty much my whole story for it. I mean, like, it's been kind of a big inspiration to me artistically because, like, that was both the first anime I ever watched, like, religiously from start to finish. It's like 26 episodes or something like that. And like I started drawing the characters, I started like taking tips from how to draw anime books, stuff like that. So it kind of, I would have to say, it kind of kickstarted my artistic career in a way, you know?
No, definitely. I remember you being, have always been very drawn to this series, and it's been your favorite for the longest time. Like basically since I've known you, we've talked about this series on and off podcast, and
yeah.
So you recommended it to me, and you told me, Jaian, you need to watch Trigun, and
yeah,
I was so
I
happy that
I recommend this to a lot of people because, like, it's for me personally, I think it's very like it's not as amazingly written as like Cowboy Bebop is, but I think it would be like a step beneath it. Like it's almost to that point because it's not as heavily Japanese influenced as like other shows that we watch. It's a little more focused on just telling a story in its own world. Yeah, and it's just got really good. It's got really good characters. It's got a really cool setting, a really cool plot. Like I recommend it to people who are like you ever have people who are like I want to get into anime, but I don't want to start with say the fan servicey stuff. Like people are kind of turned off by anime because of that sort of thing. So no, definitely. Yeah, so like you recommend them stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Naruto, or but like for me, Trigun is always one of the ones that I throw in there because it's not, you don't have to know Japanese culture as much to enjoy it, which is why I think it's one of the better anime shows ever, really.
No, definitely. I just remember when I started the first episode and it was Vash basically being trailed and gunned down by all of these people who wanted him because what was his bounty? Like, I know the currency wasn't double dollars. It was like 60 billion or something like that. Like,
60 billion, yeah.
Yeah, 60 billion double dollars, which I was like, okay, so this obviously this guy's wanted. Like, is he a criminal? I wasn't sure. And very early on, I got just very attached to who he was as a character because like he just had a really good moral code and he could decipher good from bad very easily. And he got himself in these very like not desperate but like really tough situations, and you always wondered how he would pull it off. He had this resilience, one that now I think about it makes me think a lot of I will want to go too down this rabbit hole, but it really made me think of Onizuka from Great Teacher Onizuka. Vash and him share this resilience of a lot is put against them, but they pull through every time. And I think that what Vash also has that I really enjoyed is like the teamwork he developed with Millie and with Murel and with Nicholas, everything like that. Just it was just really good, and the story, I liked how it was like Cowboy Bebop, where the episodes, obviously there is a plot and we do follow along, but like Cowboy Bebop, there's not too much connectivity between each episode, which I really enjoyed.
With Cowboy Bebop, there's like a couple of episodes that are that do have like a story arc between a little bit, more than one episode, but there's no overall goal for the entire show. Whereas Trigun, there is an overall goal. It just doesn't show itself until a little bit later in the show. Right. The Trigun has a very slow burn with its story. So like if you like the characters, then you'll probably get into it. If you just want to see these characters, then you'll like it, honestly.
No, the characters are great, and Vash is, I know it's like that main character trope, but like he is my favorite character, I think. Now that I think about it, I was very much into Wolfwood. He was like my favorite for a long time, but now just thinking about it, I'm gonna pull a Hotshot. I'm gonna switch real quick here. I really like Vash. I just really, as a protagonist, he carries the story so well. You root for him every step of the way, and you really want him to succeed whatever happens in the series. So that's what I like the most about him. What about you? Favorite characters, standout characters for you?
Man, I like all the characters. I like all of them a little too much to pick one, but like if I have to pick one, I'll have to say Vash is probably my favorite character.
No, definitely. I also, his nickname, the Humanoid Typhoon, I've said this before, such a badass nickname. I love it.
It's got such a Western Mad Max feel to it. Like, oh man, there's such a like nice way of like spinning like legend and rumor into their world, like the way that they pass information onto each other. It's all like word of mouth. There's like no social media, or there's no like there's no like real long-term communication. So it's all spread word of mouth, and it feels very much like an Old West sort of world.
What did you think about his? I asked you this in the Cowboy Bebop podcast. How being a bounty hunter, being a wanted man in this westernized, techie lifetime. I don't know how else to put it. How did you feel about like this, just the structure of the anime, where he goes from town to town, and he comes across the Nebraska brothers, and just how the plot and everything is structured? How did you like that?
Well, like, I like that there's no immediate, like, goal for the whole thing. Like, there's a set, or, like, there's a set, sort of, like, Vash himself has his own goal. Or it's not, I guess it's not really a goal. It's just more of, like, he just has to survive day to day because, like, he's been wrongly accused. Spoilers, by the way. That's what these podcasts are all about. I don't know why we don't tell, I don't know why you guys watch this if you're not ready for spoilers. But anyway, I like that there's a mystery of like, we know that Vash did something, but like the way that they show us how, or like his person, like his character is very much like, it doesn't match up with the rumors that you're hearing when you hear it from the other background characters who are like, they just list like these like tall tale sort of feats that he's accomplished, but like everybody's afraid of him, but like you actually see the character and you have this moment of like disbelief. Like Meryl is the character who you kind of relate to in the sense that like she also doesn't believe it, because for the first 4 episodes, Meryl doesn't believe that that's Vash the Stampede.
Right, I remember that.
So like she doesn't, so like you're kind of with Meryl for that majority of the show in trying to discover like as from like as an audience person that it is Vash, that's the character, because like you're observing it and you're seeing all of the story from all angles, but Meryl is just seeing it from based on the way that he acts. So in a way, the show is doing the same thing by showing you that like all of the rumors are fake, but by the 4th episode, it finally shows you how and why people think he is like this entity of destruction,
this hurricane.
Exactly.
Great word choice, Jaian. No, but in all seriousness, I really think that Meryl is the perspective of the audience for those first 4 episodes, and the more I'm talking to you, the more I'm remembering this anime, and the more it's coming back to me now. I also remember her in Millie. Like, I felt like she was not like Millie was like riding her coattails, but like Meryl was basically, you know, like, do this and do that. Like, but she had more of the leadership, and she helped guide Millie, and they were a good humorous team together. But like, Meryl really like pulled and like really was the reason why Millie how can I say how Millie was, she basically was a side character too. Meryl is what I felt like the more I'm thinking back to Millie. How would you remember Millie being, especially with Meryl?
Millie is the like kind of the ditzy kind of a little aloof, I think is a good word for her. She's not stupid. She's just a little absent-minded. Like, she's very simple-minded. Like, she just thinks in a very straightforward sense. But Meryl has like a very logical kind of mind. So she just like, she has a goal, or like she'll have like a set goal, and then she'll like mentally she'll just calculate everything humanly possible to make sure that she gets to that goal. And she's just focused on looking at everything from a logical perspective, as opposed to like a creative perspective.
Right, but wasn't she her assistant? Now that I think back about it, didn't she like just assist her? Like, if Meryl wanted something, Millie had to do it, kind of thing. Was that it or not?
Oh, they were more like coworkers, really. So like, they were both put on the same job because they work really well together. We didn't even say exactly what they do. They're so Millie and Meryl are the
insurance
agents.
Yeah, it was insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the whole point of these two characters is that their insurance company. Yes, this is actually how it's going down. It's weird to think that they have an insurance agency in an anime. Like, you've never really. That's also something you never really hear about. Really, you know.
Why not, Kyo? Why not?
Or it's kind of like you never hear the insurance agency in like the Marvel movies or something like that. Know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But anyway, these characters are sent out to find Vash the Stampede, keep him under surveillance, and prevent Vash from doing anything destructive. So that way, the insurance company doesn't go under or doesn't have to pay for all the damage that keeps being caused. So, or that's just the long and short of like what their purpose is. But obviously, like, very human things get in the way, very non, like, or very much stuff that they wouldn't have expected to be getting into, because to them, they think they're just going in to they're just doing a job, but like, they kind of later on bite off more than they can chew, and then they just kind of get roped into everything.
I want to shift our attention maybe more to Wolfwood. I loved Wolfwood.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And you know what I remember? Okay, more spoilers here, but I just remember texting you in all caps, being so mad and just, what the hell's going on? That's so unfair. When Wolfwood passes away.
You were texting me moment to moment during the episode where Wolfwood dies.
Oh my gosh! I was like,
and then
what
at the end,
hell?
You were just like, yeah, you were. And like, ooh, man. Like, are we just going to start with the fact that he died and not talk about his character first?
All right, now let's talk about Legato. No, I'm kidding.
Let's move over to the next character.
I'm kidding. No.
Yeah.
He felt like a sidekick to Vash, but he held his own. Like, I would definitely consider him to be a main character. I don't remember the specifics of it. Like, he carried this cross. He was a smoker. He helped out Vash a lot. I mean, what? Tell me more about Wolfwood.
Well, so Wolfwood is kind of just a passerby at first, and basically he gets roped into a situation where he has to show that, like, on the outside he's a priest, so he is supposed to be a man of the cloth. He's supposed to be he's going on a pilgrimage basically, and he's getting into these situations where he has to help pay for this orphanage that he works for, basically this orphanage is his home. He grew up there himself, but he's also trying to make it better for the children that he's protecting, basically.
He's doing it for the kids, Kyo.
But yes. Basically, he sees no other way to survive and thrive in this world without having to kill people. Whereas Vash's character is the complete opposite. He believes that peace is completely possible through non-violence and not killing people. Like, he'll do everything possible to not kill people, which is another aspect that I think is why a lot of people like Vash, is because Vash is very, what's the word for it? He's very altruistic. He's very much focused on the needs of others above himself.
Oh my gosh,
which
yes.
I think is one of those things that makes him.
I really wanted to get into that.
Character.
And like, quick parentheses, I just remember Vash not being able to hurt any bad guy for the longest time. He couldn't bring himself to doing it. And wasn't it Legato who like put the gun to his head and he wouldn't like even pull the trigger? Like some scene like that happened or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
there's a scene later on where Legato has like the power to like manipulate people to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And like he eventually got it to the point where Vash had no choice but to pull the trigger and kill Legato, which is ultimately what he wanted, which is a really painful scene to sit through because the whole point is that like Legato wins in a way and Vash has broken his own moral code.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like, I just want to put this like for a quick legato in musical terms is when you put two notes, like when you connect two notes and the musician plays them in a smooth way when they transition from note to note. Do you think that has anything to do with his name? Because why would you name him like Legato? You know what I mean? Do you feel like that has any connectivity to like his name or his character or anything?
I don't know. Like I didn't really think about it that way. I didn't even know that till now. So I mean,
no. Of course.
Just kind of an interesting, fun fact about him, I guess.
Yes. Because I just feel like Legato was this really evil guy in this mental way. Wasn't there like also
he's a very psychological.
Yeah.
He's a very psychological villain.
Yes,
is what you're thinking.
Yes, exactly. I felt like he just manipulated people and screwed with people. He was like an evil Ibiki from Naruto. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I perceived him. But wasn't there a scene with him in a bar where he just like a bunch of people got gunned down? I know that's like that scene happened like everywhere.
So like I'm just gonna like argue this in general. Like a lot of I think a lot of really good movies and stories have like I think bar scenes are a really good way to establish a character.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put this character into a room and you just put like any kind of random thug into like in their way, and the way that the character reacts kind of is very telling of how that person's personality is. So like, for example, when Vash is first introduced, we see him like calmly just getting up and holding his gun after this entire bar has been demolished and he's the only thing standing. The next scene, which is a flashback, he holds up his gun and his gun is empty, so it's him reacting and dodging the bullets and running off.
Like every other scene,
which is actually a pretty funny scene.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then there's the scene with Legato, which is the complete opposite, which is him like avoiding conflict to a certain point, but then when they push things too far, he manipulates things to go his way, and it's a really creepy scene. And like pretty much as I recall, all the characters died except for some of the prisoners of a certain gang.
Exactly.
It's been a while since I've seen that episode, but I do remember that.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you were saying about the bar scenes. I feel like these bar scenes are so prevalent throughout the entire anime. I feel like every other episode there was this gun down bar scene of a fight that Vash didn't want to get into it, but some drunk thug, hey, did you like stare at me wrong? Like I saw you from over there, and like you're the main character, so I have to like screw with you for like 3 minutes. You know, basically, like, I feel like that was very much within Trigun every other episode, and it was a good excuse for some great fight scenes, bro.
It is, yeah.
Like if you want a good fight scene,
we kind of trailed off from. I think we kind of trailed off from Wolfwood there.
From Legato, because all we said about Wolfwood is that he died. Remember?
That's true.
Anything else about Wolfwood?
But can we jump back to that real quick?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, anyway, Wolfwood is a character who, despite his like appearance and his like the first impression you would get off of a guy who's dressed as a priest is that the idea is that he should be the more passive one, whereas Vash, the perceived gunslinger, is the actual really passive one.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really cool character dynamic. You just like they have a Naruto and Sasuke kind of vibe, except they don't necessarily hate each other. They just kind of have like they just have kind of a friendly rivalry to the point where they see themselves in each other, but they don't hate what they see in one another. I think that's the best way I can describe it, honestly.
No, I see where you're coming from with that, and
yeah,
I loved Wolfwood. He was just this very cool, calm character, and whenever he had something to say, you would just kind of perk your ears and be like, "Oh, Wolfwood! Like, what's going on in this episode with him?" And I really liked the fight scenes with him and Vash, where their teamwork is really great, and I just great character, great complimentary character to Vash.
Definitely.
Should we talk about Rem?
Rem. Oh,
Rem.
Boy. Oh boy.
The
mother of this whole. If she hadn't saved those two children, this would not be a problem.
Rem is the reason why we're podcasting about this.
That's true.
And Rem gave us one of the greatest anime fights at the end of Trigun, because those brothers hate each other, and I just remember that whole spaceship thing was so messed up, and how Knives at such a young age was such a screwy.
God, Knives is such a cool, I love and hate that character. He is so much fun to watch. Like just like not even just Knives, but just like the dynamic between the two. I think there's a little bit of similarity between Knives and Wolfwood, but Knives is a little bit more on the extreme side. So I think that like the contrast still works with it. But anyway, what were you saying? You can go ahead.
So I remember the Project Seeds was basically a thing because Knives and Vash aren't exactly human. They also have like some plant DNA or something like that. And I just remember this whole spaceship situation where she was basically trying to save them both from some sort of attack, and then it all fell apart. Like this is I'm literally going like as far back in my brain. I'm trying to remember how this whole situation develops. But she's basically the reason why there's a screw up at the end, right? Isn't that what happens? Like, could you fill in the blanks here for me and the audience?
Yeah. So basically, Rem is part of this crew of people who have taken this large ship, or this fleet of ships, actually, to go to another planet because Earth. We fucked it up, same as Cowboy Bebop. I think it's kind of the same, kind of the same backstory. I think with Earth. Wasn't Earth just like uninhabitable, basically?
We screwed up, Kyo. We didn't listen.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't listen. I'm leaving that silence.
I mean, you can't say. You can't see it, but I shook my head. So
I know. I can feel the shaking.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Essentially, what happens is these characters are taking these cryosleep people to another world so that way they can build a new society for humans, because humans fucked up Earth. They're just moving to find a new colony to start humanity new, just basically give humanity a second chance. So like, I'm just gonna say this right now, like I have in fact read the entirety of the Trigun manga, because there's a sequel series called Trigun Maximum that they never made into an anime just because basically because like the original anime didn't was sadly not very popular, which is honestly a real shame.
Yeah.
But but basically there are these creatures called plants. They produce energy. This energy has been harnessed by people to power their ships, power their cities. But Vash and Knives are basically the last two, or like one of the last two plant offspring to be produced. I don't know the specifics, and I don't remember the specifics. It's been years since I've read this thing, but so basically, Rem saved them. They were about to be destroyed because like the humans thought like this is unnatural, this isn't how this is supposed to work. But Rem saves Vash and Knives. She becomes their adoptive mother. She starts raising them, and apparently they grow faster than they normally should. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually did in fact calculate how old Vash should be. He's somewhere around 200 years old
At this point in time, as we're recording the podcast. Is that what you're saying?
No,
or in the anime? I know, I'm actually confused.
In the anime, like in the anime, when we meet him in the or like when you meet him in episode 1, he's about, I think he's 130 years old, if I recall.
Damn.
But I did some like rough calculations a long time ago.
Quick maths. Yeah.
But but that's me like knowing way too much about this anime and the manga. Anyway, Rem is their adoptive mother, and what exactly happens with the ship is Knives becomes the yin to Vash's yang. Their philosophies are opposing. Like the best way that they explain it is this scene where there's a spider and a butterfly, and the butterfly is stuck in the web, and Vash goes to let the butterfly out, but Knives goes and kills the spider because he says if you keep freeing the butterflies, the spider's just going to die anyway. You might as well just kill the spider. But so in that sense, you kind of already see how their philosophies are opposing. Vash wants to save everybody, but isn't always aware of the fact that like there are consequences to saving everybody. Whereas Knives is like, don't save anybody, don't save the lesser of the two evils, just kill those who are in your way. So like that pushes Knives into the direction of manipulating the entire crew into killing each other, except for Rem. And then when they all try to escape the exploding ship, Knives is trying to destroy both the humans and just leave it so that way him and Vash are alive on the planet that they've discovered.
It's all coming back to me now.
But Rem saves all the people, and but Rem saves a good chunk of the crowd, the sleeping people, and then that leads to the society that we know of in the Trigun series.
I wanted to go to this. I was like doing some research for the podcast, and apparently in 2010 there was a Trigun movie that came out. Do you need this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trigun Badlands.
Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen it. I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna do a podcast about it, buddy.
You need to check it out. It's actually a really good one-off story. So like,
don't spoil.
I actually saw it. Not that I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say like I saw it not long after I had finished the anime. It was like after Netflix, and I went out and bought the movie. And the movie was, that doesn't matter how much it was, but I went out and I got my Vash plushie, some popcorn, and and just sat down and watched the movie. And it's one of my favorite movies. It's kind of one of those generic like one-off movies. You know how like in the Naruto movies they don't really have they don't connect to the show.
Yeah, to like the main storyline. Yeah,
they just have like that one-off non-canon story, but it could be canon, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like that. But with Trigun, it's like you could just see this as like another one of Vash's adventures, like between episodes. But it just specifically pits it like after he's met Wolfwood, so it just leaves you with like it's between these 2 points in time, basically.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but like if you're gonna watch it, I definitely go and check it out because it's, oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
I will. And then the other character, we kind of talked about him a little bit, but I really wanted to get into Knives as well. I think you said a good enough chunk on him, but what I love the most about Knives is the fight against him and Vash at the very end. Are you kidding me? That fight,
man. The final episode is probably the final episode is probably the peak of how good that show is. Like there is a tiny point of contention. I'll just say like, I know that we're saying spoilers, but like I feel like I shouldn't is all.
Dude, we're talking about the final episode. Like, how else gonna
that? You know what? Yeah, that's a good point. So like I think that there's a little bit of point of contention. Some people are just like he should have just killed Knives. Others are just like, no, it's very in character. My only problem is that like Vash says at the end, like, I'm just gonna follow my own path, and I'm like, well, if he follows your own path, you probably would have just killed your brother instead of like that would have been more surprising than him letting him live. But I don't know. It's there's a nice bit of catharsis to it. It's got a pretty strong ending. The actual fight between them is actually really entertaining, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat from like start to finish.
No, I love it. And I just remember how they're just pointing the gun at each other and then just keep bouncing back and forth at the very end when Vash is carrying Knives in his arms as he's walking back. And oh man, okay, I gotta ask you this: favorite fight in all of the series?
My favorite fight scene?
Yeah, favorite fight.
Oh, okay. I have quite a few, but like, I'm gonna have to say the fight in episode 4 where Vash finally whips out his gun and uses only 6 shots to defeat the Nebraska brothers. It's so amazing because it's been built up for 3 whole episodes, and then by the time you get to that point, you're already kind of like you've been teased of like Vash actually using his gun for that whole segment or all 3 of those episodes, and when he finally does, it's probably one of the most satisfying fight scenes you'll ever see.
My reaction to that was like, about time. Like you're worth $60 billion dollars. All this crazy, you're amazing stuff. Like, show me episode 1. Okay, you can run around. Episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. You're like, okay, there's something to this dude. Okay, I have to agree. It's such a great fight, and I'm gonna have to say that my favorite fight is I know a cop out, but the final fight, the arm with his arm, Kyo, the explosion. And I know we have questions about this, and I don't want to like go too much into it, but boom, bro, boom. It's great. I love this anime through and through. And now I the more we're talking about it, the more I want to watch it. And it's one of these things where I've seen this anime, like I said, a few years ago, and I've seen more anime since.
I've seen it 2 or 3 times actually, because I saw it on my own by myself for the first time, and then the second time I introduced it to Austin. Austin was really into it. Like he was invested from start to finish, and like that just made me really happy that he was into it. Also, sadly, he couldn't join because he's not feeling too well. Sorry.
No, I know. Hotshot, if you're listening,
I would have loved to hear his thoughts on this whole thing.
Yeah, like 100%.
I would have loved to have heard like his unique take on this whole thing. It would have been nice, but hey, here we are.
It's all right. It's okay. Should we get into the audience questions, Kyo?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into that.
All right. I sent them to you, so do you want me to say them? I feel like you're going to be better suited to answer them. So, do you want me to read them out and then you'll answer the questions, or do you want to read them out? Whatever you prefer.
Yeah. Go ahead and read them out, and I'll try and answer them the best.
The best you can. The Trigun.
The best. Sorry. The best I can. Not. I'm the best at answering them. That's not what I mean.
All right. So, Heth Merit.
I mean, so far I've spent like so far I've spent like 5 or 10 minutes like rambling about each question you've got for me. So
more rambling. All right, Hethmer asks why the angel nuke arm thing, and that's such a good way to describe it. I valid questions. These are the questions we need answers for. Because it's awesome, right? Why else? I mean, I guess you can give the actual reason why, because that's how he was genetically formed, I guess.
Well, I mean, because it's cool.
All right, next question.
I mean, that's my first answer, but no. Well, like he basically shows the. So, like, basically, if you watch I'm pretty sure it's the final episode where they just go through it and they explain that Knives built them from like pieces of the ship that they fell from, and he made them so that way he can destroy humans basically, or just like wipe out the settlements that so like all the crash sites are where the towns are in this world. So like whenever you came across a world or a town in one of those episodes, that was where like one of the early ships had crashed, and then they built their towns around that because they had the generators with the plants inside of them. Anyway, so like the whole plan was like Knives wanted to like destroy those settlements so that he and Vash could have the world to themselves, but Vash didn't really want to do that. But I don't know why he kept the gun in the first place. He may as well have just thrown it out or something. But anyway, yeah, that's why the angel arm nuke thing.
Okay, and the next question from Rene Jimenez asks, do you think we'll ever get a main sequel? I guess, like you said, the manga continues after the series. Do you think that's ever going to become an anime or something else after this?
I would love to say yes, but I mean, so like the author of this show has stated that this is his favorite series, or at least I recall him saying that. I could be wrong, but he said it was his favorite series. It's a little more popular here than it is in Japan, but it's still not as big as it should be. I think it should have. I think because Cowboy Bebop was so much more popular and a little. It had a little bit less. I guess it just grabbed people a little bit more than Trigun did, probably because Trigun still has like a very anime flavor to it, so people didn't gravitate towards it as much.
No, but, I know. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see a sequel series, but as it is, I'd rather it be as it is, as opposed to being like Dragon Ball, where it's been milked so much that its content is somewhat dry in my eyes. No, I see what you mean. A fair opinion, but
I mean, I haven't really watched Super, but like every time Austin asks me why am I not watching Dragon Ball Super, it's because I've already seen Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball can only do the same thing so many times before I'm not interested in it anymore. Whereas like Trigun just had its one story, it got from start to finish, and it got the majority of the manga, and the manga was just kind of a passion project, and then the anime was made, and they did what they wanted to do, and then they made the movie, and then they were happy with it. So I mean, like, I'm perfectly fine with it, but I would be curious to see what they come up with if they did do another one.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to say. I think crazier things have happened. Like, for example...
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too, Jaian.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get at here is I think an OVA is possible, because we've seen Yu Yu Hakusho's 25th year anniversary. Big OVA came out, and so this thing came out in 2008. So 2023, 1998, 2023 is something going to come out? Maybe. We don't know. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, a movie came out in 2010, which was 12 years after the fact. So... it could possibly there could always be something. So that's a good question to put on the Trigun subreddit or something, like, or petition. Let's make a petition.
Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing an OVA, but like my only thing is that like I'm perfectly, like, me personally, I'm content with it. It's kind of like if Cowboy Bebop got like a continuation. We don't really need that, because like Cowboy Bebop didn't have a beginning or like an end goal. It just kind of had it was just kind of like an excuse to show these characters and show their backstories. It was much more character driven than story driven.
No, I know, but
and like if you made another show about it, which I mean we're getting the live action one, that's just more of an homage.
Yeah, that's
and
what I was
more
gonna
of a
say, exactly.
way to make it. It's more of an homage, and it's more so to kind of just like introduce it to a newer generation, kind of. I mean, like personally, the whole like adaptation thing, there could be a whole another podcast on that. But
well, there is.
Yeah, there is a podcast on that. That's true. Go check that out.
Yeah, Kyo and I are doing updates for the Cowboy Bebop live action, coming out every other month. That when we get news about something, very consistent scheduling on that one.
Oh yes, the most consistent.
I think that's gonna be that's everything for the questions. So let's get into final thoughts here. I'm gonna let you close out, Kyo, because this is your baby, and I want you to close out with your final thoughts. I'm gonna say that
I'd love to hear your thoughts first, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'd like to
of course.
hear what you have to say, because I mean, like I feel like I've been talking a lot more than you have today, so just I want to hear some Jaian
Don't worry,
for a little while.
There's literally 70 plus more episodes of me talking more than usual, so I mean this is completely fine.
That's true,
yeah,
but there's not enough about you talking about Trigun, so
we're just gonna loop this. In all seriousness,
yeah.
I was so happy that you recommended this anime to me. I really enjoyed the entire structure of the podcast. Oh my god, of the anime. I'm so sorry. What I loved the most was really Vash being able to carry the series from start to end, and you really got to see him grow and develop as the anime got through it, and the action was packed, the teamwork was there, the characters were, really very 3D to me, where they had so much depth. You could feel their emotions, and you could really get into the structure and the narrative of the anime. It was greatly, on a technical point of view, I loved the music in Trigun, and I think I've covered one Trigun song ever, and now I'm thinking about it.
I think you did, and like, you know what? That's another thing. That's one thing we didn't talk a whole lot about, but I'm sure we could talk about the music a whole lot too if we wanted to. But I guess this podcast is long enough.
I mean, very Western style music, very cowboy music. I loved it. And quick side note, I had an assignment because I'm studying film music right now. I had an assignment where I had to make music for a Western genre, and I just listened to the Cowboy Bebop OSTs, and I was like, oh, this sounds kind of, I just went into the blues scale. I was like, oh yes, feel like Trigun. What would Vash do right now? So I mean, it influenced me a lot, even in my craft. So great anime, definitely worth the watch. And
can I give like a quick little story regarding the music? Actually,
for sure, go ahead.
So like, I was about like 14 when I first saw this show, and I actually loved the music so much that I actually bought the soundtrack on iTunes a long time ago. And so like I added the music onto my phone, and at one point my parents heard me listening to I think the song is Blue Funk. It's like a really like good mix of like blues and Western music. But like my dad came by and he was like, oh, that sounds nice. That's a good soundtrack. What's that from? And I said, oh, it's from an anime. He's like, it's Japanese? Really? Like, he was just kind of surprised by it because he had heard me like listening to other anime stuff, and like it was not really, it's not very conventional. And I thought, yeah, it's actually not something you hear in anime most of the time. Like, you hear a lot more, I guess like sort of more orchestral kind of stuff, or maybe I don't know how to describe like regular anime music. It's a lot of it kind of blurs together for me sometimes. But like, that's just that was just like kind of a cute story that I thought about.
No, of course,
when you brought up the music.
And with your final thoughts, Kyo.
If you guys haven't seen Trigun,
you're spoiled.
Firstly, why are you watching this podcast? Yeah, we spoiled the show for you. Now you have no reason to watch it, but please go watch it
and subscribe because you can get spoiled by other animes. So why not?
Sure.
No, okay,
but yeah, if you haven't seen Trigun yet, I highly recommend it. Just as good, if not better than Cowboy Bebop. It's just my own personal bias. I'm completely aware that like which one is better, but I just have my own personal taste, and this is just the show that I would prefer to watch over Cowboy Bebop if it were brought up. But yeah, I highly recommend that you guys check it out. If you want to find it, it's available on Funimation, Crunchyroll, and on I believe it's available on YouTube. I could be wrong. But
Just-
yeah, that's
just
my
one search away,
those
you'll
are my
find
final
out.
thoughts.
Of course, no, great
One,
points
yes,
across.
one search away, you'll find it. Oh wait, no, that's right. It's on Hulu.
It's on all of the things.
It's on all of the things. Yes.
All right, so the artwork for anime podcasters is provided by GoProKyo. Go follow him on Twitter at GoProKyo. And do you have anything else you want to plug? In all seriousness, plug away, Kyo.
Just watch for my channel. I got videos coming out pretty soon. I got another speed paint coming up, and I've also got another fully produced video. It's little ways out, but it's not too far away. But yeah, go check out my channel. You can check out my website for artwork commissions, and yeah, and I also recommend that you guys go follow Mr. at JaianMusic on Twitter.
Yes, my Twitter is at JaianMusic. I do all the audio editing for anime podcasters. I'm available for commission. So if you want to,
he makes music, and it's really good, and I love it.
Oh, stop it! You're making me blush.
Good.
In all seriousness, so at JaianMusic on Twitter, facebook.com/JaianMusic, and if you want to follow the podcast, you can always follow us on your favorite podcatcher. I expand the podcast. We're on literally iHeartRadio right now, so we're literally in any podcatcher you look up. There's too many. I can't list them out anymore. There's too many. But obviously, subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you are, and that is going to be everything. And obviously, go follow at Caution Ginger. I'm sure he's working on some great stuff. So go check him out on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere. And for myself, for Hotshot.
Yes, I can't talk about it yet, though.
So for myself, for Kyo, for Hotshot, it's been another episode of
Podcasters.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and with that, let me bring you our latest podcast coverage on Trigun, where we discuss Trigun Badlands Rumble. This is the Trigun movie that Kyo and I recently discussed in July of 2022. Enjoy! Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. Today, it's the original crew, episode 1 crew. We got Kyo and myself. How's it going, GoPro?
It's good. It's going.
Early morning recording for Kyo, and it's a 12 lunchtime recording for me. But today, we got a very exciting topic. We are going to be talking about Trigun Badlands Rumble, the Trigun movie that, from my research, takes place between episode 10 and 12 of Trigun. And there's so many things about this movie that I want to get into. But, as always, let's just start from your general thoughts and impressions on the movie, Kyo. Go ahead.
So I think it's a good movie. I don't have any particular issues with it.
Right.
It's pretty much just one of those... it's one of those, like, supposedly inconsequential anime movies, like most franchise movies, like the Naruto movies or the Dragon Ball movies that kind of take place in a certain part of the timeline, but they're technically not canon usually. But in the case of this one, I think this one is supposed to be canon.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Mainly, I think it's because Yasuhiro Naitao worked on the story for this one, so I assume that like part of that is that's why I assume like part of it is like canon or something. But like that's the only thing I have to go off of. I believe he was part of the writing team, or at least he was part of the producing team, so I know he was definitely directly involved with it.
On AnimeStackExchange.com, according to this Anime News Network review, Badlands Rumble, is canon and occurs between episodes 9 and 10 after Vash has met Wolfwood, but before Legato closes in. Right, okay. That makes sense in the timeline, and I mean, in Anime News Network is a huge, very reputable source, so, I mean, that's cool that it's canon. To me, the thing, I mean, this little blurb on Google mentions a character, and I just kind of want to get this one out of the way.
Okay.
What was Wolfwood up to in this movie? Because, like, I know we're all for hire here, but you're working with the enemy and then you're working against the enemy. I just felt like his character was kind of placed in random bits. He felt like a bit of a fill-in to me. What were your thoughts on Wolfwood?
I think it makes sense. I mean, like the whole point of Wolfwood as a character is that he's supposed to be Vash's or in some cases he's Vash's rival or his opposite, but at the same time, like they're kind of two sides of the same coin, or more so like they're just slightly different from each other. They both have like sort of a strange moral standard that they hold themselves to, but like the difference is that like Vash has qualms about killing people, and Wolfwood doesn't. So the
like at all.
Yeah. That the whole point of Wolfwood is that he's supposed to be he's supposed to clash with Vash's ideals, but at the same time, the stranger part of it is that he's supposed to be a priest, and as a priest, like part of the part of your what's the word? Part of your code is to not commit any of the 10 or commit against the 10 commandments, basically. So,
right.
But anyways, in terms of his role in the movie, it does seem a little shoehorned in on one hand, but on the other hand, I think it kind of fits into the story naturally. Like, I think the idea of like Wolfwood pretty much just becoming a gun for hire for a short point, it kind of makes sense because, like, if you think about it, one of the episodes where he first shows up, or I think like the second episode that he shows up in, is like he's helping this lady who owns a restaurant, and it's entirely by happenstance. So if you look at it that way, it's kind of just another one of those situations that he gets himself into, and then that kind of helps progress the story a little bit.
Right. No, I see what you mean. Like, the other thing to me, too, like, jumping away from Wolfwood here.
Yeah.
For Vash, I had not seen Vash in action since 2016, 2017 when I watched the original series, and the last time I saw him was, like, Vash versus Knives, and to me, I just felt so good. I was, like, so happy to see him. I'm like, oh, this guy's back. This guy's back for an hour and a half on my screen. And I'm so happy about this because he has this, like, charm to him, and he has this charisma. And I love how in the first scene of the movie, we're set 20 years back, and the first thing you hear of him is like, hey, my donut, like my donut. And I'm like, that's that childish nature of his. And it just comes back in. And why does he always get caught in these awkward situations in the intro? Because like on the, was it the boat scene too? Where he's kind of like, oh, sorry, I just wanted to get something. I'm sorry for bothering. Like, my bad. Like, even though you're the humanoid typhoon and you're super wanted, and what is it, $60 million double dollars or something?
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on that overall?
Just seeing him back.
Yeah, man. Like, because for you it was a rewatch. This was my first watch.
Yeah. Well, so I was actually following this movie as it was coming out. So like. Funimation was doing a lot of clips that they were showing of the movie. Like, they were posting it on their YouTube channel. They were promoting the hell out of the movie when it was coming out. There was like it had a limited run in American theaters for a little while, which is really cool. They even brought back, like, I think most of the cast came back, or at least like 2 out of the 4 main characters, that being Vash and Millie, I believe, came back. I don't think Murel and Wolfwood's voice actors came back. I know for a fact Wolfwood's didn't come back, but I would have to look I'd have to look a little deeper into like which ones didn't come back. But anyway, for me overall, like, I was really excited for this movie when I first saw that it was coming out. I was like, holy crap, I'm get to see one of my favorite shows in like modern animation, because like the original series, luckily it's by the same studio that did the show. Studio Madhouse.
Right, Madhouse.
So like they did the show back in the 90s, and it's still the show's animation still holds up really well, but it just kind of suffers from like how cell animation just doesn't look as clean as computer animation does nowadays, or at least like computer 2D animation used on computer software, I should say. But yeah, like, for me, I was really excited to see it. I knew that it was like one of those anime movies, and anime movies to me kind of have like this reputation of like not mattering in the end. But if all you're doing is going to see a movie that just has your favorite characters in it just to watch it again, and for me it's a really simple movie, and it's kind of a turn your brain off kind of movie. You don't have to think too hard about it. There's a little bit of there is a bit of a story arc going, but it doesn't it doesn't bear on the original like story arc from the original show. And I think that's kind of the strength of the movie, is that it doesn't have to connect to the show, but it still carries the spirit of the show, is what's the most important about it. And it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see that charm and that essence come out in a newly animated film. And it's, I don't know if I would say nostalgia. I guess nostalgia definitely plays a factor in it, but I would say there's just kind of a magical feeling to seeing like a Cowboy Bebop came out with a new movie like this year, and it was animated just in a more clean style. Like, I think everybody would be just as happy to see that sort of thing. Like, even if it
No, I see what you mean, but I do want to comment. I do want to comment on the when you say the spirit, and it's good to see it in a new animation format for sure, and it breathes new life into the series for me.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
For me, the two elements that brought new life were Gaspac and Amelia, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Amelia and Gaspac are movie only, right?
Yeah, so they're one of those characters that like come in just for the movie, and like you said, they do kind of breathe new life into it. And I like Gaspac as an antagonist. I think he's a really interesting.
Oh my god,
character.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for me, this guy is kind of like I don't know why, but I got mean person vibes from him. I don't know how else to put it, but you know what I mean? Just like, hey, well, you want to betray me? I thought we were on the same team. You know what? We're gonna roll the dice, and he just like wants to destroy. And the thing with him too is very deadly, very, very mean. Does not care about what he leaves behind, and you see that he's not very well appreciated by his peers in that first scene where he literally gets betrayed by them. And to me, the fact that Vash saves him didn't make sense to me, because I was like, why would you? What? I get it. It's Vash. Vash is like, I don't want anyone to be hurt. I'm like, but him, like that. That's really that's included, And I can't believe it. I can't believe. And also, I think that Gaspac's like, his number one thing as a villain is his vengeance, wanting to just 20 years later, he wants to come back and just like steal everything and take everything apart. And, like, spoiler alert here, I think he's Amelia's dad is what I understood.
Yeah.
Wow, that threw me out for a loop, honestly. Like that too, like that little like that bond between the two characters. So that's what, honestly, in general, those were my thoughts on Gaspac. What about you?
I don't know if I would say he's oafish. I would say I actually think he's kind of a sophisticate kind of character, or at least he has a very clear philosophy. He has this idea that
maybe like one track minded would be a better way to put it.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think his his character is kind of based on thrill, and to him the thrill is like seeing the despair on people's faces when he steals things. So like to him, stealing something is not worth it if you don't get to see the reaction of somebody who's lost something. So there's kind of a sadism to it. And it's just kind of interesting that like not only is he a kind of a sadistic person, but he's also very vengeful, as you said. And I think the most the thing that kind of holds the whole story together is that the entire movie is just revenge, and it's literally him just getting revenge on his three gang members that turned against him. And it's kind of an Ocean's 11 sort of thing, or the Italian Job.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by Ocean's 11? I don't know that.
Well, the whole thing, or they're heist movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
So like, it's not like sneaky or espionage-esque. It's a lot more bombastic, I think is a good way to say it.
Bombastic?
Yeah.
I mean, the bar fight was bombastic.
Oh yeah, there's the whole movie is kind of a spectacle film, and that's the kind of thing that I miss in anime movies is that like not a lot of them have as much spectacle as they used to. There is a spectacle aspect to some of these movies, but like in the case of like this movie, I think the spectacle is on the set pieces and the big scenes. One of my favorite scenes is literally Gasbeck getting to the city that is filled with bounty hunters that are all trying to gun him down. And it's kind of a similar situation Vash could have been in if like roles had been reversed, or if people knew that or if that Vash was Vash. But the fun of it is kind of seeing this guy mow everybody down just to get like two things. Like one, to get the plant, basically the town power supply, and this statue that is one of his old gang members. And it's entirely fueled by a need to just get even with them. And it's kind of like the simplicity of it is what makes it so fun. And the just the fact that he's doing all of it just because like something didn't go his way and they just turned their back on him, and it's just fun. It's just funny to think that he does all of this just to get back at them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of petty, to be honest.
It is petty, but it's also kind of funny how he goes all the way and he knows like just the things to do to ruined the lives of these guys who betrayed him years and years ago, because now his henchmen have taken the money from the robbery that he orchestrated and he was so proud of, and then he's turning that around and ruining, and basically he's trying to give them a taste of their own medicine in the sense that he wants to show them the same kind of pain that he felt when they betrayed him, or more so just the disgrace that he felt when they ruined the robbery, because part of the thrill for him is to basically all he does is rob people, and he pours all his money into the next robbery, and that's he kind of has a cycle to it, and that's part of what just makes Gasback such an interesting character.
Right. Maybe shifting more towards Amelia, to me, she felt like a strong support character and strong lead character as well, because she does definitely take on a chunk of the story herself. When she first meets Vash on those, I'm seeing here on the wiki, a sand steamer is what it's called, apparently. They go over to Maka City and everything, and then we see in her dream that her mother's death is related to Gasback, and she tries to kill Gasback, and then Vash interferes, and then she's like, "Oh, it's your fault, Vash. My mother you were in cahoots with him. My mother's death is on you. And at that last duel, when she reveals herself as Gasback's daughter, I think that Vash's way of don't do it, don't take his life, it's not worth it, is adopted by her. And so she does have this growth as a character throughout the movie, which is great, because she's pretty cold at the beginning, but she, you can see her heart develop throughout it. So I loved her character growth and just her character. She was well placed in the movie. She was well defined. What were your thoughts on Amelia?
I think Amelia was a good addition. I don't know if I would say that she would have that much staying power if she were added to the show. But for the movie, I think she's a really good character. I think her arc has a nice beginning, middle, and end. I'm a little bothered by the. So if you guys didn't already know, this is gonna be spoiler heavy.
Guys, like, we're reviewing the movie. Like, what do you expect? I'm sorry if you got spoiled at this point. I should have said that at the beginning, but it is what it is.
I mean, we're gonna go over the movie and just by proxy, we're going to go over the show a little bit too.
Yeah, we are. And by proxy, we're currently doing it. So, I understand what you mean.
Anyway, there's a point in the movie where you think Vash gets killed. And I thought that was a very strange middle arc. It's not. I think like the dialogue could have been fleshed out a little bit better. There's not a whole lot of scenes where him and Amelia connect necessarily, I think. Or Vash and Amelia connect properly. Because a majority of the time it's just Vash like trying to schmooze her, and it's his usual. He's using like a mix of being a dork and also being a bit of a sort of a poet in some sense. but it's all it all comes off as very dorky, but at the same time it's carried by the actor's charisma. The actors Johnny Young Bosch is a really, really good actor. He's played Vash for a long time, and he played him in the original series, and he's come back to play him, so he still has like he understands the depth of Vash's character. But as far as the as far as the middle arc where Vash dies, quote unquote, I don't know. It didn't seem to connect with me. It's hard to explain because like she's upset that he got killed by defending Gasback, and I think that's the part that's bothering her the most. It's really hard to read for me. Like, I think that's the part that...
I think you got it right, though.
Yeah.
I think you got it right with that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I hope I made it as clear as I possibly can.
No, it made sense to me.
Yeah. Like that's really I think that's the biggest issue with the movie that I have, is just like the death fake out. But if you haven't seen the show Trigun, I think it's okay to see the movie like by itself first and then watch the show.
No, absolutely. I think it stands on. I agree with that. I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So other talking points we had, because I think we're kind of blazing through these, to be completely honest. Okay, so let's talk about the bar fight. I want to talk about the bar fights and then the fights in general, but specifically one thing about the bar fight. How did Vash, this is strictly for me. Like, I did not understand this. Like, I paused, I rewatched, I paused, I rewatched. Made no sense. Still doesn't make sense. Hoping you can give me an answer. How did Vash get all those bullets? Because everyone's about to fire at each other, and it's like, huh? Next thing you know, homie's under a table, like holding, like as if he was holding a baby with his arms. It's just all of the bullets, like every single one. What? Like, is he just that fast? Is that it?
No. Like, there's a point you can see him, like, he's crawling around on all fours underneath the tables and everything. That's the point where he's grabbing the that's the part where like he's grabbing all the bullets.
But that was fast, regardless. I just like,
yeah, Vash is fast. He's inhuman. He's not human.
But that's fast. Like, that's
I know.
I didn't know he was that fast. I didn't know he was that fast.
He's an anime character. Sense. Of course he's fast.
No, but like that's like plot armor fast.
Well, apparently he doesn't have plot armor. He has bantha meat or whatever or Thomas meat in his chest.
Bantha meat or armor. I'm just saying that I was like, I was so confused.
Yeah, he's a plot bender.
Plot bender. I love it. Avatar the plot bender.
Yes. Vash,
oh my god. Okay. Exactly. But okay. What were your thoughts? Like, okay, the fights for me were so epic. I loved every single one of them. Trigun is on point with the fights. That you cannot take that away. Like the gunfights, like honestly, that and Cowboy Bebop, like some of the best gunfights I've seen in any of anime. And I would venture to say that Trigun, maybe recency bias because I just watched the movie, but Trigun takes the cake in my opinion at the moment in my mind. So, what were your thoughts on all the fights and everything in the action portion of the movie?
Well, like, so Madhouse has like a really extensive list of like doing like anime and movies with a lot of gun stuff. So like they did Black Lagoon, High School of the Dead, Devil May Cry, Vampire Hunter, Gungrave, which is another series made by Yasuhiro Naito. But they are really good at gunplay scenes. They're really good at action. Like one of their, I believe they also did Hellsing at some point. But like that's one of the things that they're best at is just action. Action oriented stuff is really, really one of their strong points. And for me, I think in terms of the movie's action is amazing. Like I said, one of my favorite scenes is the point when Gasback arrives at the city and he just blazes his way through the town with tons and tons of bounty hunters, and he's literally like an unstoppable force for that entire scene. And it is such a rush, especially if you're like waiting for the point for Vash to show up, which, by the way, I think my favorite scene overall is literally just the final duel, because it reminds me of my favorite episode from Trigun, which is episode 4, which is the episode where Vash finally draws his gun and finally starts in an actual showdown.
Was that the Nebraska Brothers, or am I just remembering
Nebraska Brothers? Yeah.
Yeah, that was that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I remember this.
Or no, not Nebraska Brothers, Nebraska Family, but close enough.
Close enough. Okay, yeah. It's only been 6 years.
Yeah, you're good. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's whatever.
Yeah. No, right on. To me, like I basically said my thoughts, but the final fight was so good. But I mean, the best Trigun fight, in my opinion, will always be Knives versus Vash.
I can't blame you. There's a lot of good fights to pick from in the original series. Like there is so much. Like that. I think the important thing is that like every fight scene, or like all the major fight scenes they all happen because they're very much intertwined with the story, and each character feeds into their fight scene and their fighting style, and it's very representative of their characters and their stance on why they're fighting and why the fight is happening in the first place. It all every fight scene makes sense in context, and it's also cool like out of context. Like that's the best way I can describe it.
No, I understand what you mean. Okay. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Okay, basically that's all the points I had before because I did want to talk about the new Trigun stuff that's happening in 2022. Before we do, you're a big trivia nerd. I found a piece of trivia here I want to just kind of read out. I kind of got into it, but if you have like any random trivia thoughts you want to get into, I would love to to nerd out with you about that. But so basically, the trivia I found on the Trigun Badlands Rumble Wikipedia page was saying it has been stated that Badlands Rumble takes place sometime between episodes 10 and 12 of the original 1998 anime. That way, there would not be any story continuity issues. It is not based on events from either the manga or anime, making it an original story influenced by the support of Western audiences. There is a second half to the Badlands Rumble's events, published in Trigun Multiple Bullets, written and illustrated by Yasuri Naito. So, very cool.
So there's like a spin-off manga
Naito.
Or something?
Yeah, apparently there's a continuation in one of the mangas, which is nice.
Oh, okay. That I did not know, actually.
Same. Just found out as I was reading it.
I mean, funny you bring it up, because like one of the things that I was doing while I was watching the movie was like I was actually checking Amazon to see if I could find the Trigun mangas.
Oh man, I've been putting too much money into anime stuff, man. But yeah,
I saw the wall art that you just put up recently.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
Oh, there's some pretty pictures.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, when I saw your comment, like GoProKyo approval, I was like, yes, I did it right. But,
every anime nerd needs at least like one Totoro related thing in their house. So, I mean, I've got the plushie, and I've got that tiny little one with the umbrella. So.
Yeah, fair enough. But I wanted to, but before we did you have any trivia things or anything that you noticed about the movie that you wanted to like splice in there?
I don't know if this is really trivia, but I do want to kind of tell you a story about how
please
how I first watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting on the movie to come out, and I knew I wouldn't see it in theaters because it was out in Seattle, and I was like 15, 16 at the time. I didn't have a car, and I was not going to be able to drive all the way down to Seattle just to see the movie. But
back in the $2 for $2.50 at McDonald's days, I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly. it was before. Actually, it was before that. Believe it or not, it was during high school when it came out.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, so prior to that, I had bought. So I think like two or so years beforehand, I had bought my my Vash plush toy that I have. I don't know if I've shown it to you, but it's one of my prized possessions. It's part of my plush collection.
Yeah.
So when I found the movie, I own the DVD, by the way. I found the movie when I was at taking a mall trip with my family. So like I think we were out at like the Alderwood Mall or something. And I picked up, and we were at a video store, and I saw the movie, and it was like, oh my god, I've been waiting to get this. So I am so lucky that I had like 20-30 bucks on me. So like I just bought the movie, and the very night that I got there, I plugged it into the computer. I grabbed the Vash plushie, made some popcorn, and I sat in front of my computer and watched it. That was my first experience watching the movies. And I did watch it again after that, by the way.
Right.
That's the only trivia I have for you on this one. There's not a whole lot about this movie that I know. I just know that it was produced by Yasuhiro Naito, the original manga author, and I do wonder like why they changed his outfit for this movie. I guess it was just like a promotional thing, just to like show that it was part of the movie or something. I don't know. Right. That's the only thing I can think of. And his gun is different for some reason.
I mean, the budget, maybe.
I highly doubt that, because they show the regular design in the first 10-15 minutes of the movie.
That's true. Man, I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I'm not sure.
I think it's just like a thing to show like, oh, this is the movie outfit or something, because they did release like I think they released some like exclusive statues for it at the time or something.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap things up on this. Let's wrap things up on this topic, because we're still here. We're still going to be podcasting.
We still got some stuff to talk about.
But final thoughts for me. I mean, great movie. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'm very happy with it. And I knew this was going to be an eventual podcast topic. It just had to be spoken about. And with the 2023 news that we got, great way to like warm up to this. So, Kyo, go ahead. What are your final thoughts?
Really good movie. If you guys haven't seen Trigun before, and if you still haven't seen it after the 5 or 6 times that we recommended it, you can start with the movie if you want to. The movie's just like an hour and a half. It's a good hour and a half. It's a really good, entertaining movie. If that doesn't grab you, then I say definitely watch just the first episode, because the first episode is actually really good at hooking you into the story. Anyway, overall, the movie is a really good watch. If you haven't seen the show, it's good. If you have seen the show, it's just it's a good standalone, and it's also a good additive, if you will, if you have seen the show. So if you're a fan of the show, you'll definitely love the movie.
Perfect. Okay, Kyo.
Yeah.
Kyo, we got a trailer. I don't want to do like a whole anime podcast breakdown here.
No.
But like, let's just kind of talk about Trigun Stampede.
Yeah.
Scheduled to come out in 2023. The My Anime List page has very little information. We know the genre: action, adventure, comedy, drama, sci-fi. You know, it's gonna be 13 and up. Millions is coming back. Millions Knives, is coming back. Rem is coming back. Vash is coming back. The trailer has a whole new animation, a whole new look. Man, what are your thoughts on this? Because I think the people want to know your thoughts definitely on this, because you're the resident podcast Trigun nerd. What were your thoughts on all of this? Tell me about your excitement, nerd out and explode.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a little bit when I saw that they're bringing it back. So like, I saw the trailer, and I could not have been happier to see a new Trigun project in this day and age. I honestly thought so. Like with the way the fandom is at this point, it's kind of pretty much everybody who's ever like been a fan of Trigun. It's kind of a small fandom. It's not that big. It's kind of just a few, like, couple hundred people that I know of. I hear a lot of people who were there when it came out were really happy with it. They liked the show a lot. It was like out on Toonami way back in the day, and a lot of people really seem to like it. And in my opinion, I think it's one of the better anime to have come out at the time. And but anyway, in terms of the trailer looks so fucking good. Excuse my language, I'm so sorry, but I am just so excited for it. So like I'm partially confused as to why they went with what's the word? They went with CGI for this one, but it is being made by the same studio that made Beastars, and if it's the studio that made Beastars, that's
I love Beastars.
Yeah.
Gotta get on that second season. I haven't seen the second season.
Oh, is it out or is it not?
Yeah. Second season's been out for a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's been out. Yeah. I saw it like months ago at this point, even maybe a year. It's been out for a good chunk of time. But no, for sure. The CGI thing threw me off at first, but it made sense after watching the trailer. Like, it's like that first initial, what?
Well, yeah, like we all kind of
CGI,
have...
what?
Yeah. Well, anime fans kind of just have this aversion to CGI just in general. But,
right.
I mean, like, if you think about it, like, you've got the Berserk anime that nobody liked. You've got, like, occasional CGI that shows up in 2D animated shows, and nobody ever seems to be okay with it. I mean, I'm in the camp that's kind of in between, where I'm just like, I kind of understand, like, it's hard to draw some of those more complicated things that they add in there, but it still is really jarring. But on the other hand, it's still really jarring when the style just doesn't really mesh. I think like Berserk is a perfect example of that. The 2016 Berserk, I think it is. It just doesn't look right, and especially like if you're doing something in 2D and then you add in a 3D asset, it's going to stand out more than anything else. But there are some projects where like CGI and 3D can come together really nicely, and I think in the case of the way the new project looks, one, it's being made by a company that already proved that they know how to use CGI properly, especially in Japan. So like Japan doesn't seem to like CGI, or at least it doesn't seem to like CGI anime, I guess is the word for it. But the projects that have done so super well are Beastars and the that new Lupin movie that came out a couple years ago, and it looks really good, and it's really well animated. Yeah, have you seen the movie yet?
Yeah. I saw it like on my timeline. I haven't watched it, but I seen the original Lupin. That's another great one. Yeah, that we can definitely do a podcast.
Yeah,
there's so many good things out there, man.
Yeah. The thing is, like, there's a lot of good CG anime stuff out there. It's just like anime fans just don't seem to like it, because like when you grow up and you see like a lot of like badly used tools in, or like what's a better word for it? If you see something like being badly used and just it never seems to improve, you kind of just grow to kind of hate it a little bit. But with the way Beastars did, and it's the same studio that did Beastars, I have a feeling it's going to come off a lot better. I have been seeing a lot of people disliking the designs more than the fact that it's CGI, which
I'm seeing mixed reviews here. I'm like going on like the Crunchyroll collection. The video has a 1.2 almost million views as we were recording this, and people are, I don't know how I feel about this. The old style felt perfectly. This looks absolutely sick. No, it is very like split down the middle. It's kind of a like it or hate it situation. I'm on the like it side. I completely understand why some people just won't like it that much. I did see a lot of discourse on just the design, like for Vash. So like, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, one, you need to go see it and get hyped. Two, his design has changed pretty drastically. So like the spiky mohawk hair is gone. It's kind of folded down, and now there's an undercut, which as of late, in the artist community, I've heard a lot of people don't like the undercut look, or like the side cut sort of. Not specifically on Vash, but just in general, some people seem to have an aversion to it because it's such a frequently used haircut nowadays. Right.
But personally, I think it looks good. I like the new design. I will say the design that I like the least in the trailer that I've seen so far is the new gun.
Yeah.
I think the gun looks stupid.
I mean, with time we'll see if I don't know.
I'm not gonna not watch the show or movie.
I don't like the gun. I'm not watching this movie. I'm not watching this movie. I don't like the gun.
That's not what I'm not gonna not watch it just because of that.
No, I know. But okay. fair enough. We're kind of hitting the time limits here, so let's wrap things up here. Yeah, I'm excited. 2023 is a good year for anime. 2022 is a good year for anime. Every year is a good year for anime. If you enjoyed this episode of Anime Podcasters, make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher. You can find all of our links over on anchor.fm/anime podcasters. Our social media is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're at Anime Podcasters on all of them. You subscribe to the YouTube channel for video versions of the podcast over on youtube.com/JaianMusic. We drop 2 episodes a month. Next episode, we're coming back with probably Hotshot and Murel going to be on, so that's going to be fun. And for myself, I am at JaianMusic on social media. JaianMusic.com is my website, and I cover anime music, and I've covered some 1 or 2 Trigun songs, so go subscribe to my channel if you like anime music and anime podcasts. Kyo, the artist for the podcast, of course, he's amazing at what he does, and I'm going to let him plug himself because I'm so used to plugging you when you're not here.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GoProKyo. You guys can also find my website, CC Art Portal, at wix.com. If you guys want to hire me, my information is on my page. You guys can also go to my Linktree, and my Linktree has all my links to it. It should be on my Twitter. And yeah, that's Kyo.
Perfect. So for myself and Kyo, this has been another humanoid typhoon-like episode of
Anime Podcasters.
Whoa, Kyo! Poo! Kyo, you still there?
Yeah.
You still there, Kyo? Man, I can't aim. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was all of it. I hope you guys enjoyed all that Trigun coverage in one mega Anime Podcasters episode. This will be our only episode this month. Thank you all so much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Hey guys, Hotshot here. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Anime Podcasters. We have over 100 other episodes for your entertainment found wherever podcasts are available, such as Spotify. We also release new episodes twice a month, so keep an ear out for us. You can follow the podcast at Anime Podcasters on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and JaianMusic's YouTube channel. Jaian himself can be found on social media at JaianMusic, as well as his own website, JaianMusic.com. Kyo, our artist for the podcast, can be found on Twitter and YouTube at GoProKyo, as well as his website, ccartgalleryportfolio.com. Murel can be found on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Reddit at Murel Koval. As for me, Hotshot, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter at HotshotGinger. As always, guys, thanks for listening to us. Hope to talk to you soon. Take care.